Hey everybody, it's Thursday. It means it's time for your Thursday Thought. Earlier this week I was browsing the MLS for some houses for some clients, and I came across a couple of listings that had been pending and they moved back to active. And then the agent remarks, the listing agent had said that the house was back on the market due to buyer financing falling apart because the buyer had lost their jobs due to coronavirus, COVID-19, and being laid off or temporarily laid off or furloughed, whatever the case may be. And so that got me thinking, like, well, how many more homes we have on the market this month in April than we had last month, considering a lot of homes came back on the market. And so I just pulled a couple of numbers. I want to share them with you. And so looking back into February, there were 830 active homes. Now let me preface it. This is patio homes and single-family homes, which is how the MLS groups them. And this is for the entire MLS, not for El Paso County or not for Colorado Springs, but basically the area that the MLS covers, which includes Woodland Park and Woodland Park, Victor, Cripple Creek, out east, Peyton, Fountain, Monument, all those areas. So entire MLS-wide, active single-family homes, 830 in February. There were 1,042 in March, and then 1,060 here in when I pulled it today, Thursday, April 16th. And so there's a small uptick, but not very big. Essentially the same as last month. And so ultimately what I've experienced in my own business is I've had my clients who are not in a rush to either buy or sell say, hey, we're going to pump the brakes a little bit and wait to see how all of this shakes out. Make sure that our employment is stable and that we maintain our reserves through this somewhat tumultuous time. And so it wasn't a surprise to me to see that there wasn't a big uptick in listings. But one thing I'm kind of curious is when we get a month or two ahead, when we look back to see what the sales numbers were down. So I think that both buyers and sellers who weren't urgently in need of buying or selling, they pumped the brakes a little bit. Of course, housing is a key factor to everyone. And so those who have to move, have to buy, have to sell, they're being forced to move here because of orders or new job, whatever. They are still doing business. And so homes are still being bought and sold. And only when no one has a crystal ball, but when we get a month or two down the road and we look back onto March and April, we're going to see and be able to compare it to months prior and to years prior to see what type of uptick or downtick. It'd be my expectation that a lot fewer deals closed in April of 2020 than in April of 2019, because I think that people went into contract in January, February, and they were closing those in March, February, March, and maybe even the beginning of April. But now that we've had a month of this COVID-19, of coronavirus, of lockdown to some extent or another, social distancing, a little bit of uncertainty, I think that people who would have bought in early March have pumped the brakes, and here we are in April. I think April is going to be a big month for numbers to fall off as far as closed transactions. So anyway, that's kind of my read on it, how it's affecting the housing market right now. No one has a crystal ball. It's a little too early to tell. We'll have more data looking back, but as of right now, there hasn't been that much of a change in our active listings. I mean, it's not like we jumped 200, 300, 400 units from where we were in March or even where we were compared to last year. So ultimately, things are holding steady. I think both buyers and sellers have backed off with about an equal intensity on both the buy and the sell side. So the market has kind of maintained and stayed even. It would be my expectation that when businesses reopen, that some of the restrictions are lifted, we're going to see a really busy summer as both buyers and sellers who pumped the brakes may be getting back into the market. So anyway, just a thought for you, just kind of what the numbers are telling me. I hope you all are well. Thanks for tuning in to these Thursday Thoughts, and we'll see you next week for next week's Thursday Thought.